The National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls has announced the dates and locations for its final 4 hearings. The inquiry will be in Iqaluit from Sept. 10 to 13, Quebec City from Sept. 17 to 21, Winnipeg from October 1 to 5, and St. John's from October 15 to 18. In a news release issued Tuesday, the Inquiry Commission said the hearings will be open to the public and will focus on key themes based on the 1,270 personal stories already collected in the early phases. The National Inquiry had to make some difficult decisions about the specific subject areas we need to examine in greater detail. Commissioner Marian Buller. The Iqaluit hearing will focus on socio-economic, health and wellness impacts. Quebec City's hearings will look at the criminal justice system, including oversight and accountability. Family and child welfare will be the focus of the Winnipeg hearings, as well as family supports and domestic violence. Sexual exploitation, human trafficking and sexual violence are the key themes scheduled for the hearings in St. John's. Bound by the government's deadline to conclude our investigation and file our final report, the National Inquiry had to make some difficult decisions about the specific subject areas we need to examine in greater detail, Chief Commissioner Marian Buller said in the release. Commissioners, Left-Right Brian Iolafson, Marian Buller, Michelle Odette and Kajik Robinson appear as witnesses at a House of Commons committee. Sean Kilpatrick, Canadian Press. The inquiry was originally scheduled to submit its report on November 1 of this year. In March, Buller asked the federal government for a 2-year extension and an additional $50 million in funding in order to connect with more people and commission original research. In the end, the government only sanctioned a 6-month extension. These final hearings will provide evidence about critically important topics, which are meaningful and relevant to the realities facing diverse Indigenous communities, Buller's statement reads in part. Turning attention to report, the news release says following the final hearings, commissioners and staff will turn their attention to review and analysis of all the evidence collected since the inquiry was launched in September 2016. Its mandate is to examine and report on the systemic causes of violence against Indigenous women and girls in Canada. Commissioners have been traveling to communities across the country, gathering often heart-wrenching statements from families and survivors, as well as looking at patterns and underlying factors. Families have been divided about the effectiveness of the National Inquiry, and it has been rocked by turbulent staffing issues. There has been high turnover, including the departures of senior staff as well as Commissioner Marilyn Poitras. The inquiry expects to conclude its research by Dec. 31 and submit its final report by April 30, 2019. More details about the final hearings will be available when schedules are finalized, the news release said.